In your engagement with international heads of state, I'd like to ask you if you've been meeting with or intend to meet with President Macron of France anytime soon, and when you do meet him, will you condemn the absolute shameful police violence that's been perpetrated on citizens throughout France who are protesting the elongation of their working life. And just to be clear, their working life isn't going from 62 to 64. There's also a clause contained in this pension extension that will force most workers to have 44 years of continuous service to have a full pension. And for French people who leave school much later than we do, that will mean work until they're 67 or 68. And indeed, that's a possibility for workers in this country. And perhaps we need some French lessons to show how you need to resist this kind of thuggery against older people and workers. But my main question to you is asking you to condemn the violence of the French police against workers across the country and to indicate this to Macron.
In relation to Macron, met Macron last week. President Macron last week in Brussels. We didn't have a bilateral, but we were attending the European Council, and we spoke en marge of that, and we did discuss the pension reforms. I understand in France they're trying to bring the pension age to 64. It's 66 here, heading for 67 in Northern Ireland, or 66 I think perhaps in Northern Ireland, with a 43-year rule. And I explained to him that we'd adopted a different approach in Ireland where people will be able to choose to retire between the age of 66 and 70, and the amount of pension they receive will depend on their contributions. Based on 40 years over a possible 56, and then also taking into account periods of caring. So we had a kind of good discussion on that. Of course, I condemn any violence, provided it's not lawful, and provided that it's not in self-defence, and that involves. It can be in self-defence, certainly. And certainly
police weren't self-defending. You can see the footage yourself.
And would encourage the deputy to condemn any violence by protesters or any attacks on police as well.